In this video, we're going to look at my top 5 solutions for doing screen recordings completely for free, and maybe some bonus features as well. Wink wink. Hey everyone, I'm Tim, and today we're going to walk through the pros and cons for each of the recording options in this video so you can make the best choice for your needs. Let's dive in. Windows built-in tools. I'm roping these first two into one because they're both built into Windows in a very similar way. But without needing to install anything, you can press Shift Windows R, and that'll bring up the recording option for the snipping tool. Here we can select a part of the screen to record, or we can have it make a selection based on the window and record that selection of the screen. Keep in mind this is still an overall screen recording and not only just that window we selected. Then we can select record, and that's about all there is to it. Now if you want to use a tool that only captures a specific window and have more control over your audio sources, you can use the game bar. So we'll stop this recording by pressing escape and then go ahead and closing out this window, and then we can press Windows G to open the game bar. Now Game Bar will select to record the last window that you had selected, and only that window. So if you overlay anything on top, it'll still only record that window. You can also choose to capture the system sound as well as your mic at the same time. There's also an option to enable the Record What Happened feature, meaning it'll be recording but not saving in the background. So instead of recording for hours on end, you can have it save the previous 30 seconds if something cool happened and only keep that bit. You can also change this amount of time in the Windows settings by going to Gaming, Captures, and changing the time in the Record What Happened dropdown. Now the pros of these features are they're built into Windows and relatively easy to use. However, they don't have native full screen options, and they don't have many features in terms of customization, and you can only record one source at a time, but all in all, they're great options to have. Clipchamp. The Microsoft editing tool that comes with Windows actually has its own native screen recorder built into it. If we go into Create a New Video, and then hit the Record and Create tab, it'll give us an option for Screen. We can then select our mic, then hit the big red button, and then either choose a specific window or a full screen to record, along with the option to include system audio if needed. And once we hit share, it'll start the recording. And of course I told it to record itself so it'll give us the infinite tunnel of doom, but once we finish the recording we can hit stop and then save and edit. Once we've recorded our video, it'll automatically be placed into the Clipchamp editor. And we can either modify the recording, trim it, generate subtitles or captions, or add additional effects. And when we're ready, we can select the export dropdown and choose the quality we want to export in. The big pro is that there's a full editing software built into Windows, but other things include being able to capture full screens or applications, and having free AI tools for auto captioning, auto cutting, noise removal, background removal, and more. The cons are that you're limited to 30 minutes per recording, and in the free version you can't export higher resolution than 1080p. And there's not an easy record and save as a file option, so the editing aspect can be a bit of a learning curve, especially if that's not what you're after. Boom! This is one of the more interesting tools I've used. Boom runs from your browser and offers a free forever plan with unlimited recording and an editing suite. And they state in order to keep it free, they run light, non-intrusive ads, which I think is a perfectly acceptable compromise. Now, how does this actually work? Well, when you sign up for an account, you can either download the desktop app or just start recording in the browser. Now you'll notice the credits here, they're not purchasable, it's just for spam prevention. I'd recommend using the app as it's a little more intuitive and has more features. When you open the app for recording, you can turn on or off your camera, mic, and system audio. Then select whichever screen or application you want to record, go back, and then hit the start recording button. And boom, you are now recording your screen. Whoop-de-doo. To stop the recording, hit stop and it'll automatically load the editor page where you can either download the file directly or make edits to it in the studio. In the studio, you can generate AI voiceover audio, add automatic zooms, generate transcripts, add backgrounds, or use AI silence trimming to auto-cut silent sections. So the overall pros would be the obvious. Entirely free and has 4K recording. The layouts are also fully customizable. It has great cloud storage, sharing, and collaboration tools, and great AI tools for transcription, voiceovers, and cutting. The cons would be the fact that it is browser-based and cloud-based, so that can impact performance, your GPU, and your network. It also limits it to being only online use, so if you can't sign in, you can't use it. The editor is somewhat simplistic and only supports single clips, so if you need to edit multiple clips together, you'll need to download them and edit them in a different software. The last aspect is more something to be conscious of, where at the time of recording, this is a very new tool, so it has yet to be heavily stress tested against bugs, privacy, and hosting, so just keep that in mind. ShareX. If you want an all-in-one workflow tool, this is your answer. To download ShareX, go to getsharex.com, hit download, and choose the setup option. Once you install and open it up, you'll see a ton of things that you can do in this software, which we'll get to in a moment. But to do a screen recording, we'll go to Capture and select Screen Recording. Then you can either select a specific window, screen, or click and drag for a specific region. Once you do that, it'll start recording in the background, and to stop recording, you can select the bottom right icons and look for the small red button. To open the ShareX window back up, we can right-click on this icon and select Open Main Window, and we can see our screen recording right there. We can also find the file by right-clicking, hitting the Open tab, and selecting Folder, and that'll take us right to the recording. Now let's close this out, and if we go over to our Workflows tab, we have additional shortcuts for how we want to record our screen for quicker selections as well. Now, to explore some of the really cool tools this program has, let's navigate to the Tools tab. And right away, we can see that we have color pickers for easy color code grabs, multiple image editing tools, and a full video conversion tool. This converter makes it really easy to convert just about any video file, and it gives us a number of presets and how much quality we want in them. But we can also add our own FFmpeg parameters if that's something we want to add, especially for remuxing. So that tool is great to have, and we also have a plethora of direct uploading options if we want to send files directly to a specific place, like Direct FTP, Google Drive, YouTube, and many others. And lastly, if you want to customize your screen capture settings, you can go to Task Settings and navigate to the tabs under Capture. Well, here we are with the pros. So first off, it's an open source software with great community and plugin support. As you've been able to see so far, it's extremely versatile and customizable with its wide range of tools. And this is probably the only pro con I'll list, but it's got fully customizable video codecs for recording, which is definitely a benefit for some people that want the most flexibility, but a hindrance for people that might need a simpler option. Now with some of the cons, it is Windows only as of right now, and it definitely has the least user-friendly interface out of all the options. And for how robust it is, the screen recording itself is not as feature-rich as you would expect, and being able to customize video conversions, especially for remuxing, will require knowledge of FFmpeg because that's the video encoder that ShareX uses. Overall, it's an incredible tool that might be more for advanced users. OBS Studio. To the surprise of probably no one, OBS has been and continues to be the most robust, free, all-around tool for recording and live streaming. To grab OBS, head to obsproject.com and select your operating system to download it. If you're opening it for the first time, it'll ask you to optimize for streaming, recording, or if you just want to use OBS as a webcam, which is a tutorial for another day. We'll select optimize for recording because that's the purpose of this video. Then we can select the size of what we want OBS to record, how many frames per second to record in, and then we can apply these optimal settings for our system. Right away, we see we have several different controls and windows. But to add the thing or things we actually want to record, that happens in Sources. And if we select this plus icon to add a source, and if we just want to record our screen, we can select Display Capture. If you wanted to record a specific window, you would select Window Capture, or if you're recording a game, Game Capture is the most optimal. So we'll select Display Capture, choose which one of your monitors you want to record if you have multiple, and whether or not you want the mouse to be visible. Now, if your screen doesn't fit inside of your canvas window, you can right-click Display Capture, go to Transform, and select Fit to Screen. And now that source will always fit to the OBS canvas. Now, if you're only using one monitor, a setting that is really convenient is within Settings and General, where you can hide OBS from your recording. This way, you can still capture everything on your screen without needing to minimize or hide OBS behind other windows. We'll turn this back on, and we can go to our Output tab and tell OBS where to put the recordings and if we want to change any of our recording settings. Then the last great feature we'll look at are scenes. And these are basically collections of sources, so you can have as many layouts as you want that you can switch or transition to at any point. So in this example, we can have a scene for just the screen, one for a full screen webcam, and then one that has the webcam in the corner on top of the screen. So I'll just right-click the display capture, hit copy, and then paste it into the webcam plus screen scene. And then I'll go to the webcam scene and go ahead and add my webcam using the video capture device source. Make sure it's selected and hit OK. And then I need to constrain this to fit to screen as well. So transform fit to screen. And then I can once again right click, copy it over to the other scene that has the display capture as well. And we can then resize the webcam by selecting it and clicking and dragging one of the corners. And we can constrain the aspect ratio by holding Shift. Now we can switch to any of these three at any point. Then just make sure you have your mic and desktop audio set up as needed, and after that, you're ready to record. Then when you hit stop recording, it'll show you where you recorded to. Now the last pros and cons. OBS is open source and probably has one of the biggest communities for support, tutorials, and plugins that I've seen on almost any platform, and it's available on all operating systems. It's incredibly feature-rich and fully customizable. There are plugins or options that allow remote workflows like NDI or Video Ninja. You have full control over your quality and formats, and you can live stream to almost anywhere, or even just use OBS as a webcam. Now the cons are that OBS can be very time consuming and have a steep learning curve if you're new to it. Some features other options have, like built-in zooms, annotations, and cursor highlighting, require plugins or scripts that you have to download separately. And because OBS can get incredibly dense, stability can be a big factor if you aren't careful. Now, regardless of which option you choose, what I hope this video has done for you is given you the knowledge you need to use the best tool for your workflow. Let me know which of these options you like the best. Comment if there were some that you've never heard of. Boom, got it. And if you'd like some more in-depth tutorial on any of these tools. Thanks for watching, and boom. That's just too fun to say.